Hi everyone, welcome to my POL. So this is a little table of contents. It's going to be like more like about me and my IOP goals for this year. Then it goes into my projects. I did about 4 projects, I think. And then systems thinking and a personal project that I've been doing. Who am I? I'm Riley Hickory. I use any pronouns. I'm a sophomore and I'm 15 years old. And I'm from Lowell, Massachusetts. Me, Kaylin took that photo in front of her house. I have 2 sisters, my mom, my dad. I have a pet fish named Crunchy Onion. I've had my closest friends up here. I'm a cheerleader and a black belt in Taekwondo, and I'm a huge music person. It's like a big part of my life. I have Megan up there, me and Amaya, me and my mom, me and my dad, and Allie, me and Reese, my little sister, then me, Kaylin, and Adriana, and my cheer team. This is my music. If you know anything, if you've been in any classes with me, you know about how much I like One Direction, Louis Tomlinson, and all this. So yeah, it's like some of my favorite bands and stuff. That's me at my Louis concert in February. That's me meeting Taylor Swift. Then just photos of Louis and Harry because we had to put those in there. Some of my favorite books: Heartstopper, the books and the show by Alice Oseman. Legend by Marie Lu. I've read this one like a million times. Love it. Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, and Good Grief by Lolly Winston. Okay, so my IOP goal, my first one was to get all A's and B's in my report card, and last year I almost stayed back. Like, I'm honestly not sure how I didn't. I failed most of my classes, and that was mostly because we were home on Zoom, and I don't do well at all on Zoom. So then when we came back for 10th grade and we were all in person, I started getting all A's and I was doing really well in school. So like my first report card, I got all A's. And so this is like my transcript. My GPA in 9th grade was a 2.1, and then in 10th grade, just solely 10th grade, it's a 3.9. But those currently average out to a 2.7, which I'm going to, if I keep going the way I've been like getting my grades, should go up. Another IOP goal I had was to take a leadership role in group projects. A good example I did for this was my part-time math project. I helped to guide my group a lot with the project and divvying up the tasks. I kind of like took charge over it because, you know, I like to be in control of that aspect, and my teacher even made a few comments on that I did really well on that part. My first project is a documentary project from photo and video from semester 1. The title was Mental Health is School the Culprit. The assignment was to create a 7 to 10 documentary based on really anything of our choosing, and I chose mental health. It's something that's very personal and important to me, and I'm really interested in like learning about it and learning about more about myself and other people. The outcome I used that was most prominent was effective communication, even though this was such like a big project that all of them were very much present. And I had to effectively communicate that through not only the digital editing, but the actual words spoken. Because of the seriousness of the topic, I didn't want to overwhelm my viewer because how serious it was. So I used some sort of I put a lot of music in there, and I did some elements of comedy, and I put my little sister in there as well, both my sisters actually, just to give it a wide, diverse range of people. So this is just, I just re-uploaded the title clip of this, and if you want to watch the whole video, I really recommend you do. I'm really proud of it, and I think it's good to bring awareness about things. It's 22 minutes long, but this is just the clip. sound's not working, but
Turn right here.
just you can watch it, it's not working, but. So yeah, that was like just the title clip. The rest of it, I interviewed a lot of people, ranging from my little sister who's 5 up until this woman from my mom's work who's 89. And I thought that that would represent a lot of different like diversity and like different experiences. And this was a comment that my teacher made. It basically explains like how like I effectively communicated it, like balancing the seriousness of the subject to not emotionally overwhelm them, which I think I really liked this comment because it was super in depth and I got to see like what I did right. Next is my capstone project. I really liked this project. A lot of people don't, but I did. Originally it's a 1,000 to 1,250 word research paper, but I was in honors, so it's 1,250 to 1,500 words I had to do. We had to pick an initial research question. I picked one of the challenge ones because all the other ones, they weren't really interesting because this one was more open-ended, even if the opinion was going to be obvious. It's kind of like you can form your own ideas and everything. The outcome, I would say self-direction is I would use the most because I was absent for a lot of classes and I had to catch up really quickly or else I would fall like way behind. And I had to manage my time better because since I was in honors, it had to be longer, which in turn I had to have more sources. And I also had to make sure I caught up in time for peer edits so that I would even be able to do those. So this is a little bit about my research. I researched, I had like 7 sources. This was a few of the topics I put in my paper. So first is like the Pan Am Flight 103. It was a plane bombing over Lockerbie, Scotland in December of 1988. Everyone on the plane was killed, including a bunch of people when the plane parts fell from the sky and onto houses. It was believed to be in response to a 1960 US bombing. It's believed that it was because Libyan intelligence agents planted the bomb, but no one really knows for sure, but almost all the signs point to this being a terrorist attack. And then for the Taliban, they retook over in 2021, and there was a huge decrease in human rights, and especially women's rights. Even though there weren't many, there was before they took over, there were still more than there were now, and it just really impacted women. Like, women can't leave their house without a man, a close family relative accompanying them. They have to cover every inch of their body. It's really hard for them. And then the Beslan school siege was in September 2004 in Russia. 1,100 people were held hostage for 3 days in a school by Chechnya militias. Out of the 340 people that died, 186 of them were children, and all these people, they were innocent. They were just caught up in a bad situation. And these Chechnya militias, they wanted the Russian forces to leave Chechnya, but in the end, it didn't do anything, which is why terrorism is bad, which ties back to my paper. This is my thesis statement. I'm going to read that. We had to put this at the top of the paper, kind of like form our opinion, then we had to put it also at the end, but like reword it differently. So there are lots of ways people view terrorism, but one could say that terrorism is never justified because it targets innocent individuals and children. It is not an effective way to reach goals, and as well as the extremist views of terrorist groups, can severely impact and hurt the human rights of a community or country. So this is my rubric. It was out of 150 points and I got 139, which is a 93, which I was very proud of because it was a 6-week long project. It was really difficult. This is just more of like my grades on it. I think I did really well. And then this is like the more important part that ties back to the self-direction is where the work habits are. I got almost all points on that. And like a comment here, you said like, as always, yes, in response to that, my class time is used well. And even here I got distinguished for self-direction. So next project is my diabetes action project in biology. The project, so the goal was to create something to help the diabetes community or bring more awareness to diabetes. And we also had to make an iceberg model that models the deeper meanings and causes of diabetes. The outcomes I used were problem solving, community membership, and so my goal in general, I wanted to create a diabetes-friendly dessert. And problem solving I used a lot because it was definitely trial and error. I first made black bean brownies. They do not taste good at all. Just gonna say that. And then I tried another thing and I made banana bread that was gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and nut-free, like everything free, but it tasted just like regular banana bread. And I also used community membership, and because I passed out to the 7th and 8th grade lunch. Pictures. That's me and Allie cooking in the school cafeteria. We were passing it out. That's me when I was first making it. My mom helped me a lot with that because I wasn't a good cook before. But this is a picture of when I passed it out to the lunch. I have an ingredients list there, and then this, when you scanned that, it brought you to a website that I made that had links and resources about diabetes, including like diabetes-friendly recipes that you can make. Next project is my still life photography project from my photo and video class. The project is basically we had to create 5 still life photographs, one of them being a collage. One had to be a memento mori, which is a photo. It usually symbolizes mortality and death. And skulls are usually used to represent that. And a vanitas is a photo that portrays a sense of emptiness, whether it be like physical or internal emptiness. And then a photo of things we like and one of things we hate, and then a collage, all the photos combined. Outcomes I used were, again, problem solving, community membership. Community membership it's because it's a group project in some ways while also being an independent project, because although I was in a group, we all had individual photos that we helped each other on so we could get done quicker. And problem solving, we were definitely time crunched and a lot of times at the end, and we had to prioritize which ones we thought we had to prioritize basically, and we had to manage our time a lot more effectively. This was my memento mori. I used the red light as to sense mood, kind of like death, kind of. This is like a head. A dead person basically. I'm not sure. And then over here I left the lighting more bright lights and white, because then the babies are coming in. It's like new life. Represent that as. This one was my personal favorite. It's my vanitas. Originally, I was just throwing a bunch of things together, and it's an empty mannequin besides the petals there. And then after I took the photo, I connected it kind of towards a person learning to love themselves again after they were empty, I guess. And yeah, I just see that as symbolizing body positivity and everything. Even though the original prompt was just emptiness, I think it can have multiple meanings. I don't like these photos at all. They're really bad. But I put them in because I think it showed that not all of them are good, really. This one, I just put a bunch of things that I loved, really just took a photo of them. This one, we had 10 minutes left of class before it was due. I was like, okay, I don't like pears. I don't know, this looks ugly to me, I'm just gonna put it together. I hate it. So that, like, this wasn't my best work. I think the other photos were a lot stronger, but these, I just don't like them. And then this is my little sister Reese. After the class like ended, I took a lot of those skills in photography. I realized I really like it. She had a lion costume on, so I used the red lighting for anger, but she can't be angry. So like, and I think photography for me is a really fun way to spend time with people. And then, so this is my collage I made out of all the photos. You can pass along that panel. Last night I could not find that, so I thought it was just like gone, but then I had to go to Mr. Barry today and I was like, do you have the collage? He was like, yeah, forgot to pass them back out. So I'm glad I have that because I think I really like the collage. I put one of the quotes from my favorite books on there, and I kind of just, I don't know, I think I put it all together nicely. So my assistant's thinking that I did, this wasn't a project, this was just an assignment in my global studies class, and I thought it was a good example. So like, for like, this is like modeling causes of the French Revolution, like being deeper. The event was the French Revolution, and there's like different patterns of behavior, which was mainly the unstable monarch, which was caused by the lavish lifestyle and all the money that they were spending, and also the age King Louis became king. And there was the way he lived and lack of representation all contributed to the unstable monarch. But then with the mental models, King Louis had a god complex, and others in the higher estate also had that as well. And that in turn made others feel like they were powerless. And people in general were just scared of him, which there were other causes of the French Revolution, but all this was like the breaking point. So this is a personal project I've been doing. Last month was Autism Acceptance Month. I have autism. I'm a huge advocate for autism acceptance and awareness. And so on April 5th, I organized for people to wear red because, as it says there, the phrase "Light It Blue" is connected to Autism Speaks, which is a very controversial organization, and they're pretty negative to the autism community. And so I changed that. And so then next week, I'm going to be going around to I think 8 advisories, and I wrote up a lot of stuff about like how people with autism are stereotyped and stigmatized, and like how you can support positive organizations and people with autism. So that's what I'm doing this week, and this is like very important to me. So, in conclusion, like we have my ILP goals, which I do think I made a lot of progress in, especially from the year before, like when I was trying to get all A's in all my classes, A's and B's. Like I thought that would be like impossible really because of how I was last year. But then like this year, school has been really really good for me because I made a lot of friends, and I think that like even me making a lot of friends, becoming closer with people, like contributed to how I did like in school, because I wasn't like dreading going to school. And then like my documentary project was effective communication. I think that was a good way to show that I communicated really well. Capstone, self-direction, I think for a lot of people that was a difficult project because of how long it was, and a lot of people just didn't like how long it was. And then diabetes action project for community membership and problem solving, like I had to it was like a month-long process of trying to get permission to go to Sunday lunch. Still life photography, same things. I like community membership because there were like days where I wanted to work on my photographs, but my group members were like, no, we have to do this. And then like systems thinking, even though it wasn't a project, it was a good example of one. And then my personal project, yeah. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?